Shalom Israel. First and foremost, I want to say Kahalayam La Yahweh, Bahashem Yahweh Shai, Yahweh, Bahashem Yahweh Shai, Barakatham, to the elders who taught us the truth, to the brothers and sisters, on four corners of this planet Earth, to the brothers who are doing the work, and to the sisters, that are being obedient to the laws, statutes, and commandments, standing on the word, and being obedient to their husbands, Shalom. Now, what I want to talk about today, I want to talk about dreams, you know, because, these are the last days of time, and the Most High, like he said in his word, he's pouring out his spirit, to his people, and a lot of us, me too, having all types of spiritual dreams and this and that, you know, but I'm not gonna sit here and tell you that I'm a expert on dreams. I'm not an expert on dreams. You know, but I had a lot of them in the past. And a lot of the dreams that I had in my past. As I came into the truth, I knew and understand. That it was the Most High. Showing me certain things. But without further ado, let's let the Word of God speak. You know, so the first precept I want to go to. Okay, it's Joel. I'm gonna go to Joel, the second chapter. We start right there. All right. Okay, this is Joel chapter 2. I'm gonna start at verse 27. It says, "And ye shall know that I am in the midst of Israel, and that I am the Lord your power, and none else. And my people shall never be ashamed." Verse 28. "And it shall come to pass afterward that I will pour out my spirit upon all flesh, and your sons and your daughters shall prophesy. Your old men shall dream dreams, and your young men shall see visions." Verse 29. "And also upon the servants and upon the handmaids in those days will I pour out my spirit." So what the scripture is saying, the Most High, in these last days, He gonna pour out His spirit, but it's not gonna be upon everybody because verse 29 says upon His servants and His handmaids. So it's gonna be, Israel. He gonna pour His spirit out. And like I said in verse 27, we gonna know that the Most High is God because these dreams, okay, that He give us is gonna, basically let us see things that's going to happen, or basically, line up with scriptures, in the Bible and this and that. They're gonna be spiritual dreams. And like the scripture says, "And I will pour out my spirit upon all flesh," okay? "And your sons and your daughters shall prophesy." Now we know what prophesy is. Prophesying basically is telling the future. Okay? And then it goes on to say, "And your old men shall dream dreams." So what is a dream? Okay. So a dream, basically, okay, is a series of thoughts, images, or emotions occurring during sleep. Okay, so basically, our thoughts, our emotions, you know what I'm saying, images, that we think about, when we go to sleep, they pop into our mind and we think about them. And like if we had a bad day, when we go to sleep, sometimes we dream about that. Or maybe something that happened a long time ago. Whatever the Most High basically lets us dream about, we dream, basically. Okay, then it goes on to say, young men see visions. Okay, now what's a vision? All right. Now, a vision is something seen in a dream, okay, trance or ecstasy, okay. Now, what is a trance? Now, a trance, okay, is a sleep-like state, okay, as a deep hypnosis, usually characterized by partly suspended animation with diminished or absent sensory and motor activity. So basically, when you go into a trance, it's like you can't move nothing. You're just like sitting there still, and your mind is just someplace else. But you're not asleep, but you're in a trance. Okay, and then it says or ecstasy. Now, ecstasy is a state of overwhelming emotion. So a lot of times when we get emotional about certain things, you know, we can see certain things. Yeah, I mean how the mind works. I don't know. Okay, but anyway, that's what a vision is. Okay, I'm gonna read it again. A vision is something seen in a dream, trance, or ecstasy. Okay, so we have a dream, which is a series of thoughts, images, or emotions. Okay, occupying during sleep. Okay, then we have or visions, something seen in a dream, trance, or ecstasy. Okay, so basically, the Most High is telling us, okay, during these last days, okay, we're gonna prophesy. Okay, we're gonna basically gonna dream dreams. Okay, and we're gonna see visions. Okay, and these things that we see is going to be the servants of the Most High, and they're not going to be just any dreams. It's not going to be anything that we dream when we go to sleep. You know what I'm saying? It's going to be dreams basically that's going to line up with scriptures and this and that. Okay, that's why the Lord said He's going to pour out His Spirit. All right. So real quick, I want to go through a couple of precepts. In the scriptures, just a couple of them, just to show how the Lord did in the past, how He basically he gave Israel, dreams and visions, okay, and prophecies. Now, real quick, I want to read this though. I'll read Job 13, no, Slocky, Job 33:15, real quick. Okay, Job. Okay, Job 33:15. I'm gonna start at 14. It says, "For God speaketh once, yea, twice, yet man perceive it not." Verse 15, "In a dream, in a vision of the night, when deep sleep falleth upon men, and slumbering upon the bed." I'm read 16 too. "Then he opened the ears of men and sealed their instruction." So through in the book of Job, through the Spirit, it says that the Lord, okay, if He wants to tell you something, okay, He'll tell you something in a dream or in a vision. You know what I mean? Now we know and understand that the devil, the enemy, is spiritual demon Satan can put thoughts in our mind too. So that's why we got to be spiritual. You know, and how do we be spiritual? We study to show ourselves approved unto God. So a lot of time when the Most High tell us something in His Word, it's going to line up with the Scripture. Okay. So my next precept I want to go to is I want to go to Genesis chapter 15 verse 1 real quick. Genesis chapter 15 verse 1 says, "Out of these things the word of the Lord came unto Abram in a vision, saying, Fear not, Abram, I am thy shield and thy exceeding great reward." So basically, the Most High spoke to Abraham, okay, through a vision. And once again, what is a vision? Seeing something seen in a dream or trance. So the Most High put Abraham in a trance, you know, or a dream, whatever it was, and spoke to him. All right. My next precept I want to go to is the same book, chapter 46, verse 2. All right. Let's see. Chapter 46. Chapter 46, verse 2, it says, "And God spoke unto Israel in the visions of the night, and said, Jacob, Jacob. And he said, Here am I." So the Most High spoke to our forefather Jacob, okay, who was Israel, okay. It says in a night vision, you know, Visions of the night, well, while he was sleeping. Okay. Right. Let's go to Exodus chapter 3. All right. Exodus. Exodus chapter. Exodus chapter 3. Okay, verse 2 and 3. And it says, "And the angel of the Lord appeared unto him in a flame of fire out of the midst of the bush. And he looked, and behold, the bush burned with fire, and the bush was not consumed." Verse 3, "And Moses said, I will now turn aside and see this great sight, why the bush is not burnt." So basically, through the Spirit, the Most High showed Moses basically a vision, okay? Because he seen this burning bush, okay, in the mountain, and he walked into the mountain, okay, to see what was going on. It was the Most High speaking to him through a vision, all right? My next precept I want to go to is Isaiah chapter 6. All right. Isaiah chapter 6, I'm reading from 1 to 8. Okay. And it says, "In the year that King Uzziah died, I saw also the Lord sitting upon a throne, high and lifted up, and his train filled the temple." Verse 2, "Above it stood the seraphims, one seraphims. Each one had 6 wings. With twain he covered his face, and with twain he covered his feet, and with twain he did fly. And one cried unto another, and said, Holy, holy, holy is the Lord of hosts. The whole earth is full of his glory." Verse 4, "And the posts of the door moved at the voice of him that cried, and the house was filled with smoke." Verse 5, "Then said I, woe is me, for I am undone, because I am a man of unclean lips, and I dwell in the midst of a people of unclean lips. For my eyes have seen the King, the Lord of hosts." Verse 6, "Then flew one of the seraphims unto me, having a live coal in his hand, which he had taken with the tongs from off the altar." Verse 7, "And he laid it upon my mouth, and said, Lo, this is Slakin said, Lo, this have touched thy lips, and thy iniquity is taken away, and thy sins purged." Verse 8, "Also I heard the voice of the Lord, saying, Whom shall I send, and who will go for us? Then said I, here am I, send me." So basically, the Most High, okay, showed a vision, okay, to Isaiah. All right. So basically, the Most High, he speaks to us through visions and dreams and stuff like that. But we gotta know and understand, okay, the difference between the spirit of truth and the spirit of error. Okay, my next precept I want to go to is Ezekiel 8, the 8th chapter. Ezekiel, the 8th chapter. Ezekiel 8 and 2. And it says, "Then I beheld, and lo, a likeness as the appearance of fire. From the appearance of his loins, even downward, fire, and from his loins, even upward, as the appearance of brightness, as the color of amber." Should I read the next one? And verse 3, "And he put forth the form of a hand, and took me by the lock of my head, And the Spirit lifted me up between the earth and the heaven and brought me in the visions of Yahweh to Jerusalem, to the door of the inner gate that looked toward the north, where was the seat of the image of jealousy and provoketh to jealousy. So basically, the Most High took the prophet Ezekiel, you know, through the Spirit. It says, but it wasn't a vision, you know. So there again, the Most High, shows us and gives us messages through the visions. All right, but we gotta know and understand, you know, we gotta know and understand that when we do have these dreams or visions, whatever, we gotta know and understand if they're from the Lord or if they're from, spiritual demon Satan. All right. So the next precept I want to go to is Matthew 17. All right, Matthew 17. Okay, Matthew 17. I'm gonna read 1 to 8. Let's see. All right, this is one Matthew 17, verse 1. And after the 6 days, Yahushua taketh Peter, James, and John, his brother, and bringeth them up into the high mountain apart. Verse 2. And was transfigured before them, and his face did shine as the sun, and his raiment was white as the light. Verse 3. And behold, there appeared unto them Moses and Elijah talking with him. Verse 4. Then answered Peter and said unto Yahushua, Lord, is it good for us to be here? If thou wilt, let us make here 3 tabernacles, one for thee, and one for Moses, and one for Elijah. Verse 5. While he yet spake, behold, a bright cloud overshadowed them, and behold, a voice out of the cloud, which said, This is my beloved Son, whom I am well pleased. Hear ye him. Verse 6. And when the disciples heard it, they fell on their face and were sore afraid. Verse 7. And Yahushua came and touched them and said, Arise and be not afraid. Verse 8. And when they had lifted up their eyes, they saw no man save Yahushua only. So basically, through the Spirit, they see the vision. Okay, they see the vision of Elijah, they see the vision of Moses, and they see the vision of Yahushua Mashiach as he was transfigured. He was full of light. Okay? So once again, the Most High basically, showed them a message through their vision that basically all power and authority was given to Yahushua Mashiach. You know what I mean? He was about to run stuff. That's what he was showing them. You know? All right, let's go. My next precept, I want to go to the book of Tobit. This is it's in the Apocrypha real quick. All right. All right, this is the book of Tobit, chapter 12, verse 19. Shock, yeah. All right, chapter 12, verse 19. Start 18. I'll just go to the point. Verse 19. It says, All these days I did appear unto you, but I did neither eat nor drink, but ye did see a vision. I'll read verse 22. Now therefore give God thanks, for I go up to him that sent me, but write all things which are done in the book. So basically, the angel came down. The Most High sent the angel. Okay, that came down to help. Toba and his son Tobias. Okay, because Tobias was going to get a wife and this and that. But the point was that the angel. He basically they all thought he was he thought he was a human. You know what I mean? He ate in front of them and this and that, but it was a vision. They thought he ate, but he really didn't. You know. So that's all through the power of the Most High. Because again, the Most High shows you visions. You know. All right. Now, my last precept. I want to go to the Book of Sirach. Okay. I'm gonna go to the Book of Sirach. All right. 34th chapter. All right. I want to read from 1 to 8. So this is very important. Okay, this is the Book of Sirach, chapter 34, starting at verse 1. Okay, it says, "The hopes of a man void of understanding are vain and false, and dreams lift up fools." Verse 2. "Whoso regardeth dreams is like him that catcheth a shadow and followeth after the wind." Verse 3. "The vision of dreams is the resemblance of one thing to another, even as the likeness of a face to a face." Verse 4. "Of a unclean thing, what can be cleansed? And from that which is false, what truth can come?" Verse 5. "Divination and soothsaying and dreams are vain, and the heart fancieth as a woman's heart in travail." Verse 6. If they be not sent from the Most High in thy visitation, set not thy heart upon them." Verse 7. "For dreams have deceived many, and they have failed that put their trust in them." Verse 8. "The law shall be found perfect without lies, and wisdom is perfection to a faithful mouth." So basically, the point is that every dream that you have is not from the Most High. Okay? When every vision you have is not from the Most High. Like verse 6 says, "If they be not sent from the Most High in thy visitation, set not thy heart upon them." So through the Spirit, it's saying, if these dreams are not sent from the Most High, just don't even worry about them. You know what I mean? Don't put your own trust in these dreams. But the question is, how you know these dreams is sent from the Most High? I tell you again, you know, study to show yourself approved unto God. A workman should not be ashamed, rightly dividing the word of truth. You got to study. You got to read this word. You got to be obedient to the laws, statutes, and commandments. Okay, you got to do, what the Most High say do. You know, then what happens, the Most High give you understanding. Put the Spirit upon you. Then you'll be able to discern. You'll have that spirit of discernment. But if not, you can't be just saying, "Oh, I dreamt about this, I dreamt about that. Oh, I dreamt about numbers, this and that." Come on, that's garbage. You know what I mean? You know, like Romans, Romans 8:5. I'm gonna get there real quick. That'll be the last precept. This is Romans. Okay. Okay. Romans 8:5. It says, "For they that are after the flesh do mind the things of the flesh, but they that are after the Spirit, the things of the Spirit." So basically, if you're in the flesh, if you're fleshly, you know what I mean? You know, if you're being obedient to whatever the flesh does, you're obedient to it, you're not spiritual, you know. So basically, the Most High is not dealing with you if you're in the flesh. You know what I mean? You got to be a spiritual person. How you be a spiritual person? By, basically doing these laws, statutes, and commandments. Praying, you know what I mean? Doing what thus said the Lord does through his word, you know. And that's how you're gonna be able, to be able to discern if this dream or vision that you had is from the Most High, or basically, it's a fleshly dream, or from the spiritual demon Satan. So I just pray that Israel, you got edified, from these precepts. Like I always say, if I said anything wrong, it definitely wasn't the spirit; it had to be the flesh. And based on say, call volume, love Yahweh Bahashem Yahweh Shai, Yahweh Bahashem Yahweh Shai, Barakathum. We almost out of here, Israel. You know what I mean? Shalom.